Florida for the first time. Here's Tyus in low. Score it for Alex Tyus. Nice entry pass by Chandler Parsons.
They have very good point distribution, Florida does, on where they score from through the year. 3-point line, 2-point territory, and the free throw stripe. They have a good balance.
Each team has had 5 guys score in the early going. Tyus pulls off the miss from Lamb.
I let Chandler Parsons try to drive this ball against Deron Lamb. I don't even bring another defender to him. Just clear out and test it.
Boynton back to Walker and trying to feed into Tyus, and he's pushed from behind by Darius Miller. So an opportunity for Florida to get the lead for the first time when we come back. Kentucky's had the lead throughout. Coach Calipari will be with Shannon when we return to Atlanta and the SEC Tournament Championship in a minute. Kentucky a 1-point lead. They led by as many as 9. Shannon talked with John Calipari a moment ago.
Coach, you told me this morning that this had to be a complete team effort today. What have you seen out of your guys?
Not bad. We're breaking stuff off a little bit, trying to go on our own a little bit. But we had a great start. Now we just got to get it back.
Deron Lamb, what have you seen out of him?
He's fine. I just wanted to get him in there, get him a shot, see, get him comfortable.
Thanks.
Well, I was with John Calipari about an hour before tip-off in his locker room, and he talked about defensively. How will Deron Lamb be in this game? And you see the first possession, he kind of gimps out there on Chandler Parsons. The second part of the equation, can he keep Parsons off the boards? Chandler Parsons so active on the offensive glass if this matchup continues. And on the offensive end, Brad, I think he's going to be okay. Maybe he doesn't have that strong middle game, but he looks pretty good right there. Cleared off some screening action, steps into his shot well. Offensively, I would think he's more ready to play in this ball game than defensively.
That is. Coach Calipari told Shannon, I wanted to get him a shot and get him comfortable, and that's what you want to do with an offensive player when he's got an injury like that. Get the adrenaline flowing. Don't worry about defense. Let's go down there and put one up.
Just make sure you outscore the guy that you're guarding right now, Deron Lamb. And win the first 2 ball games. Look at those shooting numbers from distance. 5 out of 8. Rebounds a little bit. He has an outstanding mid-range game, and you have to cautious close out on Deron Lamb, especially when he's healthy on both feet.
So Florida found itself 9 down. They've worked it back to just a 1-point deficit, thanks to this guy, Wilbekin with 8. Gators haven't led until now. Parsons on his own putback.
Well, now Chandler Parsons is the mismatch problem for Kentucky. They get Deron Lamb off of him, and they go with Brandon Knight, a smaller guard that doesn't understand post defense and not well schooled on boxing off.
Lamb packs it inside to Jones. He'll give it back. They work it around the perimeter, and Liggins on the drive against Parsons. And he draws a foul. Well, don't fill out your bracket till you spend Selection Sunday with us. Coverage starts bracketology 3 o'clock Eastern at 6. Sports Center will have wall-to-wall coverage of the brackets, and once they're announced at 7, the experts will break it all down with 2 hours of bracketology presented by Staples. Kemba Walker and Jimmer Fredette will join the guys. Dickie V and the Game Day crew all coming up later today on ESPN.
Those #1 seeds are important. The last 4 national champions were #1 seeds. Go back to that out of the timeout. They go to Chandler Parsons on the low block. As soon as Billy Donovan saw that Brandon Knight was assigned to Parsons, about a 7-inch difference in height. And Chandler Parsons, again, Brad, he can score over the top of Brandon Knight or Deron Lamb.
And that offensive rebound and putback that he scored, he's got 4 boards already in the opening 8 minutes.
Both teams now clean out of timeouts. Had 3 timeouts to play off of. Both teams have scored 7 apiece. No advantage so far.
Tyus had it stripped, and another good defensive play by Terrence Jones. Vernon Macklin and Patrick Young are going to come back in, and Murphy and Tyus will sit. Kenny Boynton, who had a huge game offensively yesterday, goes up and in.
Well, Boynton really fought for a drive angle there. When he lowered his shoulders, he went from 6'1" to about 5'6" and kept that ball low through traffic on a hard hedge. Well done.
Jones got Young in the air and drives the paint. Harrelson had a hand on it, couldn't score, and now it's out of bounds to Florida. Harrelson, who had 14 points and 10 rebounds yesterday, off the top of his head, couldn't quite find the handle.
Boy, young man Harrelson that had opportunities to walk away from basketball under Billy Gillespie. And he has hung in there and a key guy for Calipari. Patrick Young in the lane for Florida. He gets big boy rebounds, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
That's what he is.
Now Florida in front by 3. They swung from being 9 down to 3 up. Brandon Knight for 3. Young has another big boy rebound. A whole different group on the floor, much like yesterday. Billy Donovan going to his bench and not afraid to do it. Prather in there, Young and Wilbekin. There's Young with the left hand. Harrelson with the rebound.
Boy, Florida is so good at getting the ball entered from the post in that middle third of the floor. If you're Kentucky, you've got to get the ball out of the center of this basketball court.
Parsons and Walker set to return to the Florida lineup, and they'll do so right now after Prather picks up the foul.
Well, I like what Liggins did, Brad. He was really being pressured by Prather. I talked about it yesterday. You can't go around pressure. You have to go through pressure and attack that defender's shoulder and elbow. Watch Liggins right here. Boom, he goes right at that left shoulder of Prather. And that's going through pressure instead of around it.
Miller on the turn. Making a living right now at about that spot on the floor in the last 2 days.
I love the out-of-bounds call by Calipari. See that Darius Miller was going to be guarded by Patrick Young, and that's a mismatch. Miller, too quick.
Macklin, Parsons wide open on the baseline. Missed the open jumper. And Miller will clear it tonight.
Well, Deron Lamb just kind of a decoy right now in this game. Not active, not moving without the basketball. Here's a look.
A good one, but he missed it. And Irving Walker with a rebound, and Irv's going to push it all the way for himself and slide it out by Miller.
What a play by Darius Miller. You talk about great recovery speed out of a big kid. That was it.
Lamb will keep shooting until one goes in. That one won't. And he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, Lamb has missed some good three-point shots. Watch Darius Miller. The closeout and the ability to keep his body off of Irving Walker. Again, you don't foul Irving Walker and bail him out. Boy, Darius Miller just elevated. Bam, just like that. Didn't foul. That's as good as you can see it.
And not only that, he swatted it right to Liggins, not out of bounds.
He is the foundation. Harrelson, Liggins, and Miller are the foundation. The freshmen give Kentucky that swagger that John Calipari's teams have always had.
There's Deron Lamb's first point. And sometimes watch out giving a shooter a couple of free trips to the free throw line, because that might just warm him up.
Now, he looked pretty courageous and fearless for his first shot attempt inside. He knew the foul was going to come, and he exploded right up through it strong. That's a good sign, I think, if you're a Kentucky fan.
Lamb for 2 to give Kentucky the lead of 1.
Saw John Calipari down there talking to Terrence Jones. Terrence Jones can't throw anything at John Calipari that DeMarcus Cousins didn't do last year. Calipari just says, been there, done that, heard that. Here's what I need you to do.
Boynton will kick it out to Walker. Macklin, too much dribbling, has it stolen away. Liggins runs with Lamb, and Lamb will score.
Twice in a row now, Deron Lamb, through traffic, through contact. The ankle's not bothering him. He looks good to go. And here's the zone I thought that Kentucky might play, trying to protect Deron Lamb defensively. Offensively, Brad, he's fine. Defensively is the concern.
And a cheap foul on Liggins. Picks up his first. Both teams have led. Billy Donovan's team was up by 3. Now they trail by 3. And he'll be with Shannon when we come back to Atlanta in the SEC Tournament Championship after this.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the SEC Tournament on ABC. Brought to you by Scion. Test drive the all-new TC at your local Scion dealer. Find out more at Scion.com.
Kentucky leads by 3, 27-24. Shannon talked with Billy Donovan a moment ago.
Unlike the last two games, gotten off to a strong start. Your thoughts so far?
Well, it's going to go back and forth. You know, they got off to a quick start, knocked down some threes, but we weathered the storm. It's going to be a game that's probably going to go back and forth, but you know, we got to weather some foul trouble here. They've been to the free throw line 8 times. We haven't even gone 1 time yet, so we got to do a better job around the basket.
Yeah, I definitely saw you a little upset. As far as your bench is concerned, what do you think you've got out of them so far?
Well, I thought Scotty Wilbekin came in and did a terrific job. He got us going offensively. Patrick Young had a lot of good energy. So those guys did a good job, but we got a long way to go before the halves close out, and hopefully we can finish strong.
Thank you.
Got to give Billy credit. He was yelling at the officials before he calmed down to talk to Shannon. And you heard the hint in there. We haven't been to the free throw line yet. I don't think the officials are watching TV, so they're probably not paying attention. But a hint there by the Florida coach, who's still the 5th youngest in the league, but he's the 3rd winningest all-time in SEC history. Can you believe that? How about the names in front of him? Adolph Rupp and Dale Brown, and then Billy D. Good company.
Outstanding company. And what I appreciate about you today, wearing in honor of Adolph Rupp, a brown suit. Now, you've got shoes from 2011 and a suit on from the 1940s.
Yeah, well, but
you look sharp.
Sometimes you got to mix it up, you know.
Pull it off.
Thanks, buddy.
Here's the problem for Billy Donovan right now, Brad. He's talking about his foul trouble. Florida's #1 in the nation. They only foul 14.3 times per game. So it's hard to get to the free throw stripe against Florida. Ohio State right behind him at 14.5, and a team that I love, Old Dominion, at 14.7. Those 3 teams lead the nation right now in terms of fouls per game.
Florida had trouble yesterday. They had 11 first-half turnovers. And then Jimmy told them to take care of the basketball like it's your wife and kids, and they only had 1 in the second half. And Billy's working Doug Shaw's right now, but that was his own team's problem. 5th turnover here in the half.
Brett, up to this point, points out of the timeouts have been even. Kentucky has a chance to get an advantage.
That should be a charging foul, and is. So that'll send it back Florida's way. Well, tonight ESPN Films presents the Fab Five, a documentary chronicling one of the most famous and infamous college basketball teams ever. You know the guys, Weber and Rose and Howard and King and Jackson. In their own words, they'll relive those days. Fab Five presented by Super Street Fighter 4 3D action on ESPN tonight at 9 o'clock. Brad Nessler, Jimmy Dykes, Shannon Spake, and our ABC crew in Atlanta. It's 27-24. Kentucky leading Florida for the SEC Tournament Championship.
Well, Lloyd Vargas now has a lot of pressure on him to play post defense. Is he strong enough and rugged enough to hold up for a few minutes?
Pick and roll, pick and throw away, I guess so.
Vargas read it correctly, was in the right spot at the right time.
And again, Florida with the same turnover problems they had yesterday in the first half. They'll have to correct that because Kentucky will take advantage of every one of those. Lamb, and that's an offensive foul as he throws his shoulder into Irving Walker. So back-to-back offensive fouls on Kentucky.
Maybe Jerron Lamb just a quarter of a step slower than he naturally is. I'm not buying that one. I don't think that defender had legally set that guarding position on Jerron Lamb.
Parsons drives, rejected by Jones, his 3rd block shot of the game. Miller stepped on the baseline, so Florida's going to get it back. Parsons again in traffic to Tyus. Irving Walker gets the long rebound. He's thinking about a 3, but he'll drive instead.
Mistake.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go.
No, that's what I'm talking about on Irving Walker. Don't bail him out. I love how this kid plays the game. Not a bigger Valentine in college basketball with a small kid. But make him make a play right there. That's a difficult play for anyone to make. But because of Irving Walker's size, you bail him out. Bad foul by Kentucky.
Vernon Macklin likes to go to the hook shot here, but Kentucky knows that. And they double team, and Parsons wanted to go behind the back on the pass. Instead, it's out to Boynton. And now just fighting for the rebound is Darius Miller.
Darius Miller getting a 50-50 ball. It was a classic example of it. There were three guys that had an opportunity to get their paws on it, and number one in blue wanted it more than the other two.
So we've got a couple of minutes without the score changing.
Florida will not play zone as long as Deron Lamb is on the floor.
Brandon Knight over Boynton. Good rebound by Macklin. Here's Boynton on the other end. Vernon Macklin finally got an opening with just one guy on him, but he missed the hook shot. And on the rebound, I think Tyus is going to be called for the foul.
Well, I'll say this about Eloy Vargas. He's getting in some key minutes right now. Something that John Calipari has been begging for. He's not showing up on the offensive end, but he's held his own. He's guarded his spot on that low block. He just picked up a foul by being tough.
And the second foul on Tyus, and that'll bring Murphy off the bench. And a 1-and-1 coming up for Eloy Vargas, the junior out of the Dominican Republic by way of Miami-Dade Community College. And he knocks down the free throw. Kentucky fans are loving it. They've been waiting for something out of this big kid all year, and he's providing it here in the first half in the title game.
John Calipari has never given a guy playing minutes because he goes to class. You have to earn your stripes to get on the floor, and right now Vargas, look at this, he's doing it.
Missed the free throw and got the rebound. Kentucky by 4.
If you're Kentucky, that just makes you feel good. The other four guys on the floor with Vargas right now, I know it seems small, but that has to give them a lift. They've gotten nothing out of that 7th and 8th man this year for the most part.
Jones over Murphy off the glass. And Kentucky puts a little run together. Out in front by 6 now.
Jones able to score because he was able to come back to his left. You know that's where he's at his best.
Walker got his man in the air. Open jumper. It's too far. And it comes off the backside to Miller.
That Kentucky zone looks good for a club that hasn't practiced now in 4 days. The only zone practice they've had, partners, in the ballroom at the hotel. It's not easy, but sometimes you just have to be creative in how you game plan for one specific 40-minute period.
Under 4 minutes in the first half. Brandon Knight around a pick. He's hit shots from that spot a couple of times. This time, a little teardrop. Vargas picks up the miss and a foul. A 30-24 lead and an active John Calipari on the Kentucky sideline. His club's in front.
Coming up at halftime, I'll be joined by Mark Gottfried as we get that rivalry between Duke and North Carolina. Once again, Carolina won the last meeting. And Party Crashers will take a look who's trying to find their way into the tournament and knock other teams off the bubble, including in the Atlantic 10. And what a run by the UConn Huskies. 5 wins in 5 days. Brad.
By 6, Jimmy, talking about Duke and Carolina. I'm sure they're part of your infamous jet.
But Brad, up there in first class, that's reserved for the #1 seeds. In Ohio State, Kansas, and Pitt, they can buckle up and store their overhead luggage. They will be #1 seeds. The question mark now becomes, who's the 4th #1 seed? I think in the selection committee's eyes right now, you're already on to Sunday afternoon. The winner of the Duke-North Carolina game would make sense. It would make common sense. It would make the bracket easier for them. So I think the winner would slide up between Duke and North Carolina. Down here in standby is where a lot of action is going to happen at the back of the plane on the jet. I think there's only 2 seats remaining, and there's 4 teams down there looking at it. I think it comes between Alabama, Georgia, I think St. Mary's, and Southern Cal. And if you look at St. Mary's, Brad, they have one top 50 RPI win compared to Alabama's 4, and Southern Cal has bad losses. Rider, Bradley, Nebraska, TCU, Oregon twice, and Georgia has none. If it was my choice, and it's my jet, I would put Alabama and Georgia as the last 2 on that plane ahead of Southern Cal and St. Mary's.
It is your plane, my friend. Been over 3 minutes since Florida's hit a field goal. Chandler Parsons just stopped that.
Brad, a good adjustment out of the timeout. Both teams have been clean and good out of the timeout. That's the only Florida's gone once without scoring. They move Parsons to the inside of the zone. He's their best playmaker, and at 6'10", he's a big target.
You know, Florida started 2 out of 8, then they hit 8 of their next 11. Now they're 1 of their last 9, so it's been streaky for Florida. It's been consistent for Kentucky. Here's Miller for 3. Rebound, Vargas.
Cannot sing the praises of Eloy Vargas. He's done more in this 4-minute stretch than you and I have seen him do all year long.
You're right. Brandon Knight goes away from the pick, throws one up there for Jones. Jones had it blocked by Murphy, but they're going to call a foul on Murphy as well.
The wild card is Eloy Vargas. Brad, he kept it alive. He purposely, after he sets the screen, watch him come in right. Boom, there. He keeps it alive and knocks it in to Terrence Jones. And the free throw differential continues to pile up in this game against Florida.
Double-digit free throws for Kentucky, 0 for Florida. And Jones has hit all 3 of his. Florida, they were behind at Tennessee, and they won by 11. They trailed by 8 yesterday. They won by 11. Right now, they're down by 6 as Jones missed the second free throw.
John Calipari saw Chandler Parsons run to the inside of the zone, so he waves it off now and goes back to his man-to-man.
Murphy thought about a 3 and thought better of that. Boynton gives it back to Murphy. This time he'll take it and get it.
No X-out action. Terrence Jones got buried, and the other big could have X'd out and gotten the shot of Eric Murphy. They don't do it, and Eric Murphy is a pick-and-pop threat.
Only his 10th three-pointer of the year, but it's a big one, and it cuts the lead to 3 as we're down to 1:45 remaining in the half. Miller on the dribble, 15 on the shot clock. Extra pass, Vargas lost the handle, but it comes free to Knight, and he'll take the jumper. This time Vargas is over the back. Picks up his first foul.
Brad, Eric Murphy can shoot that basketball. Willie Donovan is so good at getting guys involved in the screening action that can shoot it. And what he does well is he reverse pivots Brad out of the screen, so his eyes are always on the passer. Not for 1 second was he not looking for or expecting the ball to come back into the shot pocket.
Well, you mentioned Vargas, and Kentucky's got to feel good as he goes out about what he did, and that the guys on the court rallying around that a little bit. You just saw Chandler Parsons point at Murphy after he hit that 3 as if to say, we can count on you too, maybe.
Yes.
Didn't get the free throw, though.
Well, like teams like Kansas, all 5 starters in double figures. Yesterday in their championship win over Texas, they have balance, they have experience, and they have depth.
Knight, nice pass to Jones. The extra pass to Harrelson's rejected. And Murphy comes up with a loose ball. Good defense by Murphy.
Yeah, that may have been an extra pass. You're right, Brad. Because Terrence Jones is in the scoring position.
Boynton on the drive. Parsons with a follow and missed it. It was there for the taking, and Parsons just couldn't get it to drop. So there's about a 15-second difference on the shot clock and the game clock. John Calipari just gave his troops the sign, let's use some of that time and get a good shot.
Again, Kentucky has evolved into a grinded-out team during the season. They're comfortable right now taking time off this clock to close out the half.
7 to shoot. Miller. Lamb penetrates off the glass and scores.
But the ankle's okay. They didn't cautious closeout on Teron Lamb. They flew at him, and he made him pay. His middle game is the best part of his game.
Final 8 seconds. Wilbekin brings it up for Florida. Kentucky's going to have the halftime lead, but by how much? Wilbekin shot off the mark. They don't get a second chance. 5-point Kentucky advantage at the break. Both teams have led. Both teams have played very hard, trying to win an SEC tournament title. Halftime, Kentucky 34, Florida 29. After the break, we'll join John Saunders and Mark Gottfried in the studio. Has a half to go for the SEC Tournament Championship on a beautiful day in Atlanta from the Georgia Dome, packed house inside. All part of championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. It's Kentucky with a 5-point advantage at the break. Both teams led in the first half. Kentucky by as many as 9. If you're a Florida fan, take heart in the fact that the last 2 games you trailed Tennessee, you trailed Vanderbilt, you had turnover problems in the first half, and you overcame them. In fact, when you add all that up, they scored 16 more points than Tennessee in the second half. They scored 19 more points than Vanderbilt in the second half. That's what Florida's got to hang their hat on right now, Jimmy.
Red, great teams fix things right now. They don't wait and fix things on tomorrow's practice. And so far in this tournament, Florida has fixed their offense at the half, something they're going to have to do again in this ball game. Kentucky's zone defense was good for the little amount of time Kentucky has played it. And now what does Billy Donovan do to adjust to Kentucky's zone? Something we'll keep an eye on.
Well, the regular season champions are the Florida Gators. Will the tournament champions be Florida or Kentucky? Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, Brad, Billy Donovan told me he did not have to remind his players of the last 2 games. He said they should already know this is a new game. He did tell me that they need to get more aggressive, especially under the basket, specifically mentioned getting to that free throw line,
which they only visited once in the first half. And the ball is out of bounds. Florida turns it over on their opening possession, so they didn't improve in that area too much.
Well, it goes back off Parsons. He throws it off Harrelson, but then before the ball hits anything else out of bounds, it hits Parsons. I've watched Billy Donovan since he came out the half. He has gone to all 3 officials and said 14-1. What does he mean by that?
That's the amount of free throw attempts by Kentucky in the first half and the amount of free throw attempts by his own team in the first half.
He's sending a message to the officials. He also needs to send a message to his kids. You're going to have to fight for everything you get in this ball game. Kentucky has been the stronger team through contact so far.
Let's see if Macklin can make some magic in the lane. He loses the handle, so back-to-back turnovers to open the half for the Gators.
Boy, hot hands by DeAndre Liggins on the dig down, huh?
Oh, nobody got on Miller. And he's got a chance for a 3-point play.
He who hesitates will foul. And that's what Florida did. They were hesitant in their defensive transition and communication. Kentucky has played great basketball coming in. It's continuing.
Reminder, when we're done, we'll have the Buick Regal NBA Countdown and then our Sunday showcase on ABC from U.S. Airways Center. Steve Nash and the Suns hosting Dwight Howard on the Orlando Magic. The NBA on ABC following our SEC Tournament Championship. Right now, Kentucky's matched its biggest advantage. They're up 9, and Florida's getting nothing from the free throw line, and that's not helping.
Look at their point distribution for the year on the regular season. About 20% of their points from there. They're very good in the 2-point part of the floor and balance around the 3 today. Nothing from the free throw stripe. And you will not win games in March on any neutral floor when you can't get to that stripe. And that's why Billy Donovan continues to chirp about the free throw differential in this ball game to the officials.
Meanwhile, Darius Miller 5, Florida nothing in the second half. And the lead goes out to 10. Again, Florida dug out from behind in both their previous games. Can they do it again from double digits? Parsons for 3. Rebound will be Terrence Jones.
See, if Kentucky doesn't have the throw-ahead 3 or the throw-ahead layup, Brad, they go into their grind offense. They'll make 4 or 5 passes. Calipari will see an isolation. There he calls it. That's very well done.
Brandon Knight makes it a 12-point lead. And now the frenzy of the Cat crowd here at the Georgia Dome showing its presence as Harrelson blocks the shot inside.
Brandon Knight, watch, Brad, he's going to give it up and just watch, boom, right there. And how he sets his guy up is what makes the play. Playing a little bit of possum like he's going to go to his right. Bam! Quickly to the left.
Irving Walker's fouled by Liggins, who took a swipe at him. And that's kind of key right now because Liggins playing there with Deron Lamb still hobbled by a bad ankle. He's got 3 fouls now. And that means Deron Lamb's coming back in, so skip the ankle problem, I guess. as soon as they get a break. Parsons rejected. That's goaltending on Miller. So give Parsons credit for the basket. 8 points for Chandler. And Duran Lamb is back on the floor with Harrelson, Miller, Jones, and Knight.
Knight goes down to the baseline to pop out, and there's the pop out.
Terrence Jones working against Tyus. Has it rejected by Tyus. Second one will go though.
And he finished with his right hand. There's a good foot fake by Terrence Jones that allowed him to drive left. Tyus with terrific timing on the first shot. But Terrence Jones has worked so hard on his right hand partner the last month.
He really has. Boynton in traffic. The nice pass down low to Macklin.
Vernon Macklin led this league in field goal percentage, Brad. At some point in time, he needs to tell his teammates, if I don't get a shot, ain't nobody going to get a shot. I'll post up and get a 3-second count until you start throwing me the basketball.
That is his first shot that's gone in, his first field goal of the game. Harrelson on the other end of Jones. I don't know if Tyus got lost in traffic or what, but nobody was on Terrence Jones. Kenny Boynton hit a couple of shots early and hasn't hit one since. At some point, he's got to become involved. Tried there, but he missed the three.
And we're getting ready to find out if Florida has enough toughness on the defensive end of the floor. And that's where they're going to have to get back in this ball game, Brad. Back-to-back stops and back-to-back points. You have to be tough to do it.
Jones against Tyus. Parsons saved it on the baseline. Irving Walker off his foot. That's out of bounds to Kentucky. Dribbled off his own foot. So another turnover. That's 9 against Florida.
The size and the wingspan of Kentucky defensively can really bother clubs. And that's the reason why Florida has not been knocking down the three-point shot numbers-wise like they have in this game. Kentucky can really recover and close out well because of how long and lanky their perimeter players are.
Playing with a 12-point lead, almost 4 minutes into the second half of this championship game. Knight stripped by Wilbekin. Whistle a little bit late, but it's going to be a foul on Wilbekin.
Charged to Scotty Wilbekin, his second personal foul. Team foul number 2 for the Gators.
So now Lamb will inbound for Kentucky under their own basket. Jones zone. And we're going to have another foul on Wilbekin. Trying to stay with Miller.
Terrence Jones was active in the first half, but not real productive on the offensive end. To start the second half, he goes with his right paw, something that he's worked a lot on in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And then watch what he does. A blind cut. Alex Tyus loses him. And if you're not going to lose Terrence Jones very often without making him pay.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the SEC Tournament on ABC. Brought to you by Cisco. See what our network can do for your human network. And Lexus. Escape convention in the radically new Lexus CT Hybrid.
Centennial Olympic Park here in Atlanta, inside the Georgia Dome. Florida trailing 45-33. They won a tournament championship, a national title in 2007 in this building. Remember that group? Walter Hodge with that layup. Joakim Noah playing some defense. Al Horford, Corey Brewer, that whole team. Back-to-back national championships. One of them in this building. And 2 years from now, the national title will again be determined in the Georgia Dome. And Florida, they took part of that. They liked that floor so much when they won that. They said, let's cut that baby up and put it in our practice facility. And so that lines the wall of the Gators practice facility, the Final Four, and the midcourt section of that floor. And there's a key ingredient to those national championships, and now a star and an all-star, in fact, for the Atlanta Hawks, Al Horford.
And Florida's built to get back to the Final Four again this year, Brad. I think what's at stake for Florida in this ball game, if they win, I think they go from a 3 seed to a 2 seed and kind of swap places maybe with a team like Texas, who's struggled a little bit over the last month of the season. I think Kentucky is probably already locked in at either a 3 or a 4. I don't think Kentucky can get to a 2 seed. Florida could with a victory today.
They got a long way to go, though, down 12. They've done it before in their previous games, trailing Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Now they're doing it against a Kentucky team that is playing like a machine the last couple of days.
Both teams, Brad, have been good out of the timeouts as far as scoring. This is Kentucky's chance at it.
Young staying with Jones, does a good job defensively, and Tyus pulls down the rebound.
Only the second time in this ball game Kentucky hasn't gotten points out of the timeout.
Parsons with 15 on the shot clock and 15 to play on the game clock. Boynton jump stop and jump shot will rim out.
Boy, Florida did exactly what they wanted offensively, Brad. They got 3 on-ball screening actions in 1 possession. And it takes a great team to defend 3 on-ball actions in 1 series.
Miller got it tonight. He gives it to Harrelson down low. Now Miller on the drive. Offensive foul.
Player control foul charged to
Reminder for you, Monday night, the women's brackets are exclusively announced on ESPN's Women's Basketball Selection Special. Which teams have the easiest and toughest roads to Indianapolis? You'll find out. Women's Basketball Selection Special presented by Capital One, Monday night on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
I can answer one of those questions. The team that has the toughest road, the one in UConn's bracket.
Yeah, exactly.
All the 15 teams in UConn's bracket, they have the toughest road.
Yep. Whoever's got to face up against Maya Moore and company could be trouble.
Yes, sirree.
Walker, he's been quiet offensively too. He and Boynton have been held in check after having huge second halves yesterday. Young down low with 5 on the shot clock. Quick shot won't go.
Boy, good chest up, hands up defense by Josh Harrelson. You talk about a solid wall from a 6'11" guy. He just threw one up now.
We've gone almost 4 minutes without either team scoring, but it's still Kentucky by a big 12. Here's number 12. On the move with 7 to shoot. Had it blocked by Wilbekin. And Parsons comes up with a loose ball. Irving Walker takes a dribble, takes a 3, and came up short. Kentucky hasn't had to score because Florida's been unable to.
It's not enough for Florida to get it stopped, Brad. You're right. They got to finish it off now. They can't go back-to-back possessions without scoring Florida.
Pretty soon it's going to get that point where they're going to have to outscore them 2-1 to get back in it. Lamb. Well, there's a rebound by Young. Whew. With some authority. He's had a few of those today. How can Florida score?
Then Patrick Young announced to the local media that he's not considering going pro next year.
Yep.
You think that's a good idea, don't you?
I think that's a real good idea. Florida turns it over. And you're right, Patrick Young's got the body, but Patrick Young hasn't even played enough at the collegiate level to be ready for the NBA. Yep. Like you said, though, if he did go, somebody take him in the first round, probably.
3 points, 3 rebounds, but he is a man's man, and they would draft him on his potential.
Here he is on defense against Harrelson and rejects it. There's some of that potential.
Those are the things, if you're an NBA scout, you mark down. Forget about 3 points and 3 rebounds a game. It plays like this, Brad. That's a good wall, but now watch, bam, how quickly he gets up. You're talking about a load as a young man in that white uniform.
Score hasn't changed, 45-33. The SEC tournament on ABC will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We haven't had any points in 5 minutes, still 45-33. 12-14 remaining in this SEC Tournament Championship game. Brad Nessler, Jimmy Dykes, Shannon Spake from the Georgia Dome. Andy Katz reporting right now that John Pelfrey's been fired by Arkansas. Paul Hewitt here in Atlanta got the word yesterday at Georgia Tech. Vernon Macklin in low. A chance for a three-point play. And boy, Florida really needed that one.
Well-designed play against the zone. And Billy Donovan makes a little adjustment. He talks about the halftime. Great teams fix things right now. And what he did against the zone was get the ball inside. He used a little screening action to get Vernon Macklin near the rim. So he's not making the adjustment to how to get open threes. He's making the adjustment if Kentucky goes zone to get the ball inside to guys like Macklin.
Vernon Macklin trying to cap off a three-point play. Line drives, not a good free throw shooter. Florida's had field goal droughts of 7 minutes plus in the first half and 5.5 minutes here in the second before Macklin just ended it. Vargas with the offensive rebound and a foul on Patrick Young. Vernon Macklin ended the Florida scoring drought. Didn't cap it off with the free throw and the three-point play, but he did cut the Kentucky lead to 10.
Well, North Carolina's made some great comebacks this week, but against Duke it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Miles Plumlee with a little jump hook right there. And you can see Duke's lead is 14 with under 14 minutes to go. Not likely they're going to lose that. Richmond, meanwhile, maybe helping out people by beating Dayton. Dwight Howard coming up after Countdown on ABC.
John, Florida is going to have to come 10 down if they're to take the tournament title. 11:39 remaining in this one. As we go huddle to huddle, Shannon was in Florida's huddle. Shannon?
Well, Brad, Billy Donovan told his players that they are doing a very good job getting stops. They have to continue that, but they have to open up their inside game. Work from the inside out, and the perimeter shooting will come to them. And he stressed, make them foul you.
All right, Shannon, thanks, Jimmy. You were in Kentucky's huddle.
Yeah, John Calipari talking about their zone coverage, because the last time Kentucky went zone, Vernon Macklin had a little screening action on the interior of the zone and pop free. And again, this is a Kentucky team that's played very little zone to this part. So he spent a big part of that timeout, Brett, talking about coverage areas. Remember, Kentucky, they're playing it really for the first time, extended minutes right now.
To speak to what Billy told Shannon, Kentucky is 0 for their last 7 field goals in roughly the last 6 minutes. So Florida's getting the stops. They got another one. Patrick Young with another rebound, and he's been big for them defensively. Vargas picks up his 3rd foul. So Liggins and Vargas each with 3. Patrick Young and Scotty Wilbekin each with 3 for the Gators. See if Florida can come back and get it to single digits.
Well, Miller on Macklin. That's not an easy match for Miller on the inside. Neither's Vargas on Young.
Young with a hook shot. Got it. Now he comes up big on the offensive end after the defensive play. 94 feet away.
I mean, Kentucky goes one possession with Harrelson and Jones waiting to check in. And Florida goes right to the rim.
Miller is open on the pick and pop, and he pops it for 3.
Yeah, Patrick Young can't handle Darius Miller, because Darius Miller is too versatile and too quick to get out of the screening actions for Young to recover to.
12 for Darius Miller. Here's Parsons for 3. A little too strong. Young with a follow, and he missed it. Patrick Young would like to have that one back, because he would have taken it with 2 hands and flushed it through. Instead, he tried to kiss it off the window.
Impressed again with the ability of both clubs out of timeouts to get points on the board. Both these clubs did it again, Brad.
This time, Knight, instead of giving it back to Miller, tried to lob it to Vargas and threw it away. That's a tough catch for Roddy White in this building, much less Kenny Boykin. Florida 11 turnovers again. That's what they had in the first half yesterday, and then they shut the door on the problems. But these guys who were sensational in the second half, quiet today.
I think it's the size defensively that Kentucky can put on you. Lamb is 6'4". Brandon Knight is 6'3" with longer arms than a normal 6'3" kid. DeAndre Liggins at 6'6" can also cover you as well.
Next time I sprain an ankle, I want to feel as good as Deron Lamb the next day.
Get his treatment, huh?
Yeah, whatever that is.
He was off of it all night long. Elevated, ice on it, a lot of therapy, and he looks really good, doesn't he, on that left ankle? Both ends of the floor.
Miller with 5 to shoot. He'll take it over Parsons. And got it. What a huge three with Parsons right in his face.
Yeah, you can't defend it any better than Chandler Parsons did. Didn't leave his feet. Threw up high hands, and Miller just got vision of the rim.
Biggest lead of the game by either team. Boynton got up in the air and had it blocked, but they get it back, and now Tyus with a hook shot scores. 9 minutes left, and Kentucky by a dozen. Kentucky has a look and uses some of that clock. It'll be down to 10 right now as Lamb on the dribble. Gives it back to Jones. Liggins going to have to hurry. Missed the shot, and Parsons all alone for the rebound. Here's Boynton trying to work against Darius Miller. Missed the shot, though, on the break.
Twice in this ball game, Darius Miller has recovered in defensive conversion and taken away clean looks by Florida. He got a block in the first half, and he just got his hands on the basketball there.
To play, Kentucky by 12.
And Brett, it's a grinded out game right now for Kentucky, so with under 8 to go, not a lot of possessions left.
Patrick Young has done a nice job for Florida on the boards, much like he did yesterday when he had 8 rebounds. Didn't score in that game, he's got 4 today. And now Boynton on the dribble inside, and he's fouled. 7:44 remaining. Kentucky trying to win their 27th SEC Tournament Championship. Darius Miller is certainly helping the cause. Couple of threes in this game. He's been the Wildcats' leading scorer, and he's loving it.
Another look at the ACC Championship game, and Duke is rolling. Seth Curry open in the corner, gets the three plus the foul. And as you can see, a 15-point lead now with under 11 minutes to go. Richmond over Dayton. Of course, that ACC game you can see over on ESPN and on ESPN3.com. And on ABC, Steve Nash is saying it's questionable. He's Canadian, though. He's likely to play as Phoenix faces Orlando next on ABC.
All right, John. All part of championship week. Presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. John Calipari during that last time out lit into his players again, and they're playing with a 12-point lead. Irving Walker has his three-pointer blocked. But Terrence Jones can't handle it and steps out of bounds.
Brad, the message that John Calipari needs to be sending is to keep the chokehold on Florida right now. Just like Duke better do to North Carolina. North Carolina's had back-to-back major comebacks in the ACC. And Kentucky has to keep playing in this basketball game right now. This is an offensive team from Florida that can spurt on you.
And one thing John Calipari has harped on all season. That's it. If you got them down, step on their throats. There's a walk. Kentucky turns it over. And Florida will have it back with 7:28 remaining. And Liggins, who went down on that ankle oddly yesterday, gets up sort of slowly there.
And Florida's going to try to get back in this game around the rim. There they go.
And that'll send Parsons to the free throw line.
What does that do for you, Brad? Not only do you get high percentage looks from the power part of the floor, you might start working your way into this game from the free throw stripe, where Florida has just not been able to do any damage up to this point.
This is only the third free throw attempt of the game. Chandler Parsons, it's really about the only part of his game that hasn't been complete this year. And it continues to be a problem for him. I asked him about it and said, what's with your free throw shooting? That was probably 3 weeks ago. He said, I guess it's got to be mental. He was a better free throw shooter last year than this year. Got the second one, though. 51-40 as we approach 7 minutes.
If you're going to put pressure on Kentucky, Florida has to get 2 stops in a row. It's not going to be good enough to get 1. Can they get 2 stops in a row against the Wildcats?
They don't even get 1. They did not.
Man, he is so good, Josh Harrelson, at setting a screen, and then when he reverse pivots out of it or sprints out of it, he immediately gets his eyes on the passer, and he's dialed in.
It was a perfect pass from Knight to Harrelson for his second field goal. Here's Macklin. Hook shot on the low block is good.
Just keep on going inside if you're Florida and Billy Donovan right now. Kentucky doesn't want to foul, and they can't foul because they're limited numbers and they're limited size.
They've got 3 guys with 3 fouls. Knight around a pick. Jumper doesn't go, and Vernon Macklin's got the rebound. And he says, where's my guard? It's because Irving Walker hit the deck trying to help him out. Now here's Irving on the offensive end with those long arms of Liggins in front of him again.
Brad, they've gotten a stop, Florida has. Can they now follow it up with points?
Macklin, Wilbekin won't take it. Now cross courts at Irving Walker. Sets and delivers.
The little guy is listed as a point guard, but he's really a 2 guard. And he does a good job of getting off the ball. When Wilbekin comes in, Irving Walker really becomes a shooting guard threat. Wilbekin finds him, and Florida fighting in this game.
6 minutes to play. Florida trying to dance their way back into this, baby. The dancing's back, you know. 11 new stars are ready to make their move. ABC's Dancing with the Stars, live 2-hour premiere event Monday, March 21st, part of March Madness, Dancing with the Stars.
I know on March 21st for a 2-hour period, Mrs. Nessler will be paying no attention to Mr. Nessler.
0 attention.
Yep.
Kentucky, their lead, once of 14, has been cut down to 8. Miller ahead to Jones. Almost threw that one away.
Hard to press Kentucky because their guards can throw over the top of the small guards of Florida.
A little bit of a stunned silence in the Georgia Dome right now from this huge Kentucky crowd. There's 21,409 in the building. 5 on the shot clock. Jones has got to take it, and he got it for 3.
How about that? How about the courage and the confidence of Terrence Jones? He's the 5th option as far as shooting the 3-point shot on the floor, but he just stuck one.
And that was a big one. Macklin draws a double team, but he's fouled. Either Harrelson or Jones, they're both there.
Terrence Jones will shoot about 1 of these a game. They put him in an on-ball screening action, and he gets separation. Tyus is not concerned with Terrence Jones popping out of a pick. John Calipari calls his number anyways, and number 3 delivers.
Vernon Macklin at the free throw line. Problem for getting to the line for the Gators. The 2 least effective free throw shooters have been the guys that have been there the last couple of times. This time Macklin knocks it down, though.
Brad, Vernon Macklin lines up, man, this is the center right here. And he's going to line up off center. I think that has something to do with his low free throw percentage. You want the release point to be lined up right in front of the rim to eliminate at least 50% of where your misses might come from. You might miss long or short, but you eliminate left or right for the most part.
I know you said that about me most of the years we've been together. I'm a little bit off center. And he was off mark on the second free throw. Harrelson on the pick and roll again. This one comes out. And whose ball? It'll be Florida's. Despite John Calipari's pleading that he wants one of the other refs to overrule the one that made the call. And they are talking about it. And he got the call. Kentucky ball. Was it the right call? I don't know. John liked the reversal.
Technical foul charge to Kenny White.
I think Kenny Boynton just got teed up.
Technical on Florida. Boynton pleading his case to his coach, but it doesn't matter. Brandon Knight's at the free throw line.
But Billy Donovan wants an explanation. What did Kenny Boynton Jr. do? And I think he deserves an explanation, and he should get one.
Hasn't gotten one yet. And I didn't see it either, to be honest with you. And I tell you, if I knew.
Well, Boynton's on the left side of your screen. He's out of the picture. Well, I think that was off Kentucky from that replay, don't you? Didn't it look like Terrence Jones got the last touch?
Yeah, I thought so the first time. At any rate, we don't have an explanation for you. Billy didn't get one, and meanwhile, Kentucky has a 12-point lead.
Kentucky converted off that out of bounds. This game may have been over. But Florida got a hand on the basketball, and they have life, and they go right back inside offensively, which is where they should go.
Here's Boynton. Well, he knocked down a three after the technical. That's a little bit of help for Florida.
The inside touch by Macklin, though, sets up the look by Boynton. His shot doesn't always look good coming off of his hand, Brad, but we're in direct line with him. That time he shot at the top of his release. And that was a big turning point. Kentucky almost scored off the out-of-bounds play. And Florida comes down and sticks a three and right back in this ball game.
Well, Kenny Boynton, it might be tomorrow or sometime next year by the time Billy Donovan gets an explanation on the technical, because he asked for one again during the timeout and he didn't get it.
Well, I think Tony Green maybe tried to communicate a little bit with him, but you have to not disregard it if you're Billy Donovan. The important thing in this game, there you see, there's Kenny Boynton right now talking to Tony Green, talking a little bit more.
Whatever he said to Tony, there it was. Okay.
Bam. Okay, there's the explanation that Billy Donovan will easily be able to see on the film. Boy, you have to stay together right now. This basketball game has to be played through your heart and through your mind, and both of them are equally important. And Billy Donovan knows that Kenny Boynton Jr. got a little bit out of character at a key time.
This one's still up for grabs with 4:20 to go. Single-digit game. Kentucky has led the entire second half. They were up by 5 at halftime. They've stretched it out to as many as 14. And right now it's at 9.
You're going to see some late clock baskets for Kentucky from this point on. Under 10, and here goes one.
Missed three by Brandon Knight. And Irving Walker weaving his way up court. Gave the pass to Macklin. Macklin wasn't ready for it. It was a good thought by Irving Walker, but it wasn't a good catch by Vernon Macklin. Cats, with less than 4 to go, that close to another SEC tournament championship.
Duke trying to wrap up yet another ACC championship, 12-point lead over North Carolina. Nolan Smith, he's been terrific in the tournament and injured as well. 10-point lead, 5 minutes to go. That's over on ESPN. And coming up next on ABC, Gilbert Arenas, Orlando and Phoenix. That's on ABC after we are done. Back to you.
All right, John, not quite done here. 3:52 remaining. The SEC tournament champion. This is a 52nd SEC tournament. Kentucky's won half of them. 26 previous tournament titles, and they're 3:52 away from doing it again.
Very important to the Kentucky fan base. I remember when I was an assistant coach for Kentucky, Brad, we were playing in the SEC tournament. I remember reading a letter to our players in the locker room prior to the game from a 75-year-old lady who said, for the past 30 years, I have 2 weeks vacation from my job, and for 30 years in a row, I use 1 week of my vacation to come to this SEC tournament. I hope you understand that, and I hope you play as hard as I have to work in order to get here. Wow. That's the kind of passion, though, that Kentucky fans bring to this tournament and bring to their program.
They've got more tournament championships than the rest of the conference put together. And together today, of the 21,409 in here, there's probably about 16,000 that are Kentucky fans.
Big possession for Kentucky to push it back up to double figures. With just over 3 minutes to go, and it's a bigger possession for Florida to get a stop.
Boynton trying to stay with Jones. And a foul on Boynton.
Good decision by Terrence Jones not to buy into the fact that he knocked down a 3-point shot a couple of possessions ago. He could have settled for a 3, but he drove it to the hip of the defender, and now a new 35 on the shot clock because of it.
And now Kentucky will be shooting free throws from here on out. That was one that Florida could give. They didn't want to give it with 1 second on the shot clock on a guy that was sliding to the floor, but now it'll be under 3 minutes the next time Kentucky even has to put up a shot. Knight on the dribble. Goes up and around. Tyus missed it, but he got it back.
Kentucky's getting ready to take about 1 minute and 30 seconds off the game clock coming out of the timeout. That's going to be the ultimate difference in this ball game. Florida couldn't get a stop. More importantly, couldn't get a rebound.
Still a 3-possession game, but Florida desperately needs a stop now, and then they need points on the other end.
Now, this becomes a must for Florida.
10 on the shot clock. Lob underneath. And a push on Terrence Jones. The foul is going to be on Irving Walker.
Irving Walker got switched up on Terrence Jones. And Terrence Jones makes a rim run, and Brandon Knight with his head up, even under pressure, found where big number 3 is.
Terrence Jones is a foot taller than Irving Walker. And now he's at the free throw line where he's hit 3 out of 4. He's had a nice half offensively. 13 points for the game for the freshman out of Portland. 8 of his 13 in this second half.
Brad, Florida has still not made a free throw in this game, correct? But they made 2 now.
2 out of 6.
Look at the differential.
That's the ball game.
That is the ball game right now.
And the lead is back to double digits. Now Florida needs points, and they need them in a hurry. They'd like to have 3 every trip. That probably won't happen. And Tyus will have to earn 2 from the free throw line, because Harrelson wasn't going to give him an easy one.
I like the foul by Josh Harrelson. Only his second personal. Not going to allow Alex Tyus to get an automatic 2. The good hard foul by Harrelson.
And Tyus, Parsons, and Macklin, all 3 of the big guys for Florida, are not particularly good free throw shooters.
So far, the foul by Harrelson saved 1 point. Could it possibly save 2?
Save 1.
Save 1. You know the pressure's going to come by Florida.
And Walker with a foul. DeAndre Liggins turned around, kind of patted Irving on the chest as if saying, I knew you were going to foul me. I knew you had to. I'm sorry you had to.
This is a Kentucky team that you and I saw beat Notre Dame, and we watched them win at Louisville. And that was back early in the season, late December, first part of January. Kentucky is a lot better than they were when they took down Notre Dame and Louisville.
No doubt about that.
And we see how those 2 teams have done in the rugged Big East this year. Kind of gives you a little bit of a clue what Kentucky might do in that NCAA tournament.
Liggins hasn't scored in the second half, but he hasn't missed from the free throw line and still hasn't. 24-8 coming in. Second in the East to Florida. You see their strength of schedule in the RPI. At Arkansas, the only loss that is kind of a blemish. There's a first miss by Liggins from the line. And we're under 2 minutes. Irving Walker down 11, and number 11 takes it all the way to score.
Kentucky doesn't want to foul, and Irving Walker knows it, so he goes right to the rim.
And Irving Walker again fouls Liggins. Florida with 1:46 to go knows that their only way back in it is hope that the Cats misfire from the charity stripe and give them an opportunity on the other end.
At the line, shooting 1 and 1. Will be DeAndre Liggins.
Florida was a preseason favorite to win the SEC. They did that as far as the regular season. Tournament championship, though, is going to be Kentucky's unless the Gators can find a way back. Don't forget, Sunday NBA Showcase, Orlando and Phoenix will follow us. Liggins knocks them both home.
And that is about 24 hours ago. Kentucky literally limped out of this building, and we didn't know where they would be on bad ankles of DeAndre Liggins, Jaron Lamb, even Terrence Jones. And the sixth man for Kentucky might be the trainer, because Lamb and Liggins, I don't know if they're full speed, but they sure played awfully close.
And now we're 94 seconds away, and that crowd that I told you is probably 17,000 rooting for Kentucky standing at the Georgia Dome. They can taste it again. The sweet taste of Southeastern Conference tournament title. And again, Kentucky at the free throw line is where they're going to win this game.
Brad, Kentucky is taken down. You know, there's a free throw differential right there. You're not going to win any games in March on neutral floor when you're getting out and score that many points from the free throw strike. But Kentucky's taken down a good, I'm talking about a very good Florida team. Probably going to be a 3 seed. Kentucky and Florida both round 10. They're built to get to that Elite Eight game this year.
Kenny Boynton's got a force one. It's short. Brandon Knight trying to save it on the baseline. It'll be Florida ball.
This Kentucky team has come so far, Brad, in their walkthrough, their game day preparation, their seriousness in their warm-ups. These guys used to goof around and clown around a lot sometimes in the pregame warm-ups. All that stuff has been flushed out of their system. This is a mature team with young kids.
Backcourt trying to trap Brandon Knight. Wilbekin will be called for the foul. Florida couldn't find enough offense against this tough Kentucky defense. We mentioned that other than Alabama, they're the toughest defensive team to play in this conference, and they've proven it because Kenny Boynton's the only guy for the Gators in double figures.
I don't know if there's a harder thing in coaching than to take elite top-level guys like Knight and Lamb and Jones, Cousins and John Wall and Bledsoe last year. Those guys come in with a sparkling resume offensively and how talented they are. And John Calipari has to break them down. He did it last year, and he did it this year. I watched him work in practice, Brad, break them down and get them to buy in defending as a team, and he's done it.
You know what it's like? It's like a star running back that comes into college football and has to learn how to block because they never have.
Right, great point. And Kentucky has blocked really well today. They've done it all season long.
Yep. It's going to pay off for them because they're just over a minute away from another SEC tournament championship. Tyus, a wraparound pass. Wilbekin, and now Murphy got a 3, but it's short as most of the three-pointers have been for Florida in this second half. Courtesy of the long arms of the Kentucky defense, and Brandon Knight will put the exclamation point on another Wildcat title. And now for Florida, it's time to back off, although Parsons is going to foul Knight. Let the celebration begin in Lexington and here in Catlanta.
The foundation of Josh Harrelson, Darius Miller, DeAndre Liggins. A solid foundation all year for John Calipari to bring the swagger and the talent of Jones, Knight, and Lamb. And that is a good 6 kids. Getting a little bit of help right now from their 7th and 8th man in this tournament.
And you look back at Kentucky and how they won it in fashion like that. And Brandon Knight at the free throw line has had another sensational game. Hits the second free throw. And the biggest lead of the ball game might be where we finish unless Florida gets another basket to drop. They will from Chandler Parsons. That's an offensive foul.
If you're going to knock Kentucky out of the NCAA tournament, you're going to have to bring two fists to the fight. Kentucky has a lot of flair, a lot of flash, a lot of hype around them. This is a team, though, that likes to slug it out. They've evolved into a grinded-out team on both ends of the floor.
Now the starters are coming out. Another sensational freshman point guard. Sensational freshman post player. The old man in the group, Harrelson, hugging the youngsters. Deron Lamb on a bad wheel. Gets a little love on the sideline.
I think about Josh Harrelson 3 years ago that played at Vanderbilt, and he played so poorly. The head coach, Billy Gillespie, made him right back on the team equipment van. And he had a lot of opportunities to, walk away from basketball in the Kentucky program, and he didn't. And that is a solid foundation right now.
I think I'd put him in first class right now.
Yeah, exactly. He went from the moving van to a jet.
Sensational SEC tournament. Won again for the 27th time by the Wildcats of Kentucky. Congratulations to Kentucky and John Calipari.
Our final score, the Kentucky Wildcats 70.
We played 52 SEC tournaments. Kentucky has taken 27 home to Lexington. Here's the all-tournament team. And, of course, it's got a lot of Kentucky blue on it, along with Kenny Boynton and Chandler Parsons of Florida. Let's check in with Shannon.
Well, Coach, you overcame injuries. You overcame inexperience. What do you have to say about the way your guys competed here tonight?
Well, the last 5-6 games, we've really taken it up a whole notch. I don't think our freshmen they're no longer freshmen. But the most important thing is Josh, DeAndre, Darius, how they're playing. How about Eloy today? Eloy gave us a huge lift, so really proud of these guys. It was good. Now we're on to that next tournament.
How does this set you up for the next tournament?
I don't know. I mean, I hope we get a good seed. Kids deserve it for how they played, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Coach.
They both deserve a good seed, including Florida. They had no reason to hang their heads. They won the regular season, but the tournament title, the T-shirts and caps are being handed out to the Wildcats. 70-54, the final. Don't forget, coming up next on ABC, it's NBA action as the Magic take on the Phoenix Suns. Thanks to Mike Slive and the entire crew of the SEC. We've had a blast in Atlanta. For Jimmy Dykes, Shannon Spake, and our entire ABC crew, I'm Brad Nessler. Goodbye and congratulations, Kentucky.